this victory is possible when all the world is around Ukraine, around our country. So thank you again.
The sheer jubilation of Kherson's residents when their city was recently liberated has now been tempered by the reality they now face, a lack of basic utilities like drinking water and electricity. Putin is subjecting Ukraine's citizens to a collective suffering as Russia's military continues to target and destroy civilian infrastructure. Ukraine says this hospital was struck with Russian rockets and a baby was killed.
Перша ракета С-300 прилетіла на дорожнє покриття, пошкоджене, і друга ракета прилетіла саме сюди. І на центральну районну багатопрофільну лікарню, а конкретно на пологове відділення, де знаходилися відповідно люди. Одна жінка після пологів 2 дні.
Some makeshift hospitals in recently liberated areas operate in almost complete darkness because they no longer have power.
Практически тяжело, потому что не работают никакие лифты, никакие подъемники. Больных поднять, спустить невозможно. Только по лестнице или на носилках вручную.
This is a deliberate tactic by Putin. He seems to have decided that if he can't seize Ukraine by force, he will try to freeze the country into submission.
Russia is targeting Ukrainian critical infrastructure, especially gas and the electrical grid. And, on the cusp of winter, this is a very serious situation for Ukraine. Its economy has been degraded by the war. So, in a way, Russia is trying to pull the plug on the country at the same time that the country is succeeding on the battlefield. It's a paradox, but it's the Ukrainian reality.
There is a strategy of terrorizing civilian population, depriving them from the ability to heat themselves, feed. So it's absolutely clear that it is a strategy to coerce Ukraine into negotiations, that Ukrainians will go to negotiations when they see that their elderly people die of cold and of no water and no electricity, when their children dying and so on.
Former Defence Minister Andriy Zagornyuk, who still advises the Ukrainian military, says his nation remains defiant and pragmatic.
We import about 10,000 generators a day right now, electricity generators. But even if they put the whole country in a blackout, the country is not going to be cursed to any concessions to Russia, because anything is not worse than Russian occupation. Russian occupation is the worst case scenario of all.
Ukraine's military has made enormous gains in the 9 months since the beginning of the war, pushing Russia's forces further and further back, momentum it plans to continue through the winter with the backing of the US and its allies. But references to a negotiated settlement keep being raised.
This war most likely will end at some stage at the negotiating table. But we also know that the outcome of those negotiations are totally dependent on the strength on the battlefield.
But Ukraine also believes Russia wants a temporary negotiation so it can regroup after its recent losses.
I don't think Putin is in a position to change his strategy. His strategy is still to succeed somehow, to destroy Ukraine. The only thing which is changing is that they're suggesting negotiations, and we do believe that they need negotiations to get operational pause and to regroup, recover, and also to lower the interest from the global community to this war. And that's what they are trying to push us to. But the end goals are not changing at all. And that's why for us it's a matter of continuing fighting and winning.
Analysts believe the war still has a long way to go.
Putin can wage this war at least for another year, if not for longer, without breaking the back of the Russian political system. Ukraine has had a lot of success, but the more you sort of put forward when you go on offense, the more that you that you risk. So it has to make probably a series of quite tough choices about how to distribute its resources and how much to remain on the offense.